Welcome back to lesson 4. What we've looked at so far is that our experiences, we've put meanings to them, and those ultimately have determined our thoughts. We've got this massively powerful object in our head called our brain that is a massive search engine that produces nothing but results of what we think about. And we've got this tool called the reticular activating system that really kind of filters everything that comes at us. And we have these two states of being. We're either in a primitive or performance state of being, and that's where we make our decisions. And that leads us into the bulk and the key of the Own It decision system, which is in lesson 4. Taking us through an understanding that our beliefs are directly correlated to our results. And what I mean by that is this. If I tell you what I believe, you should be able to tell me exactly the results I'm getting. Contrary, if I was to tell you the results I'm getting, you could tell me exactly what I believe. So if I'm sitting here saying that my business doesn't have enough money, that my wife is not liking me right now, that my kids are running around and they have no discipline, then you can come back and exactly know that I probably have this foundational belief that there's not enough money, that I'm in this shortage mindset, that I don't give my wife the attention she deserves because I probably don't believe that she deserves it, or I don't believe that I need to, or I truly believe that I am and I'm not listening. And for my kids, that I'm not giving them the time that they deserve because at the end of the day, I'm too tied up in this primitive mindset that is ultimately creating the results that I'm looking for. Because the questions are directly correlated and they're the exact same things of what my beliefs are. So by understanding that, we know that our beliefs shape our thoughts. Through by experiences or whatnot, they shape our thoughts. Those thoughts create an emotional change in us. Either anger, pain, shame, guilt, or fear. If we're in that state, we go into that primitive state. If we're in love, passion, or joy, we move down into that performance state. So those emotions create our state of being. And once we're in that state of being, we take an action. And that action creates our results. And that is why the result and our beliefs are directly correlated. Because it's a sequence of events. It's a chain reaction over the course of time. And that is why understanding that those experiences that we have and the meanings that we put to them and the beliefs that we have of ourselves, and quite often self-limiting beliefs, are creating the results for us. And by taking responsibility, by taking action, and by owning our thoughts, we can change our results that we're getting today. Absolutely today. It's not something that you have to push off on others. It's not blaming others. You're not getting a certain result because of somebody else. It's something directly correlated to you. It's something that you have control over. And by actually blaming others, you're giving the power away, which is what we've found we've done the course of our entire life. Why? Because we believe that we're not good enough. We believe that we're not far enough ahead. We believe we're not smart enough, not educated enough, not quick enough, not deserving enough, which is all untrue. In this whole thing, there's this higher power. There's this level of life happens for us and not to us. And by understanding that and having this true foundational belief that we're going to be okay, we can make that choice that we can be something better. We can have this life that was meant to be for us. And any belief that leads us into that primitive state is not true. Any belief that we have that forces us away from performance is not true. Because we were meant to thrive. We were meant to live in abundance. We were meant to be in this state of constant energy and passion and love. But because of what we think, because of our thoughts have been so conditioned and they've been ingrained inside us and a part of our identity, for a long time we've given that up and we've given away the power. And so it is that simple to create a new decision. We make a choice and we consciously think about it. We consciously make the effort to identify what belief is being there, what questions are we asking ourselves, and what do we need to do differently to conjure that new result? I think back to two people that I've looked up to for a long time, Grant Cardone and Jeff Bezos. And they were born just like that example I gave, with 25 million neurosynaptic connections, just like you, just like me. And over the course of their time, they just chose. They chose to believe that they could create a real estate empire. They chose to believe that they could buy the biggest private jet that's available to man. They chose to believe that they could create the system that now services the entire world. It wasn't because they were something special. It's simply because they made a choice. And they made a choice to believe that they could do it. Our brains create and bring to reality what we think about. There was this study done in 2009 at Harvard where they brought in two different sets of pianists. They both had the skills to play the piano. And one group played the piano, the other group just imagined playing the piano very vividly. And then they flip-flopped. They did the same thing, measured their brain in both spaces, and then they compared those brain scans. And the same parts of the brain lit up. That was such a powerful scientific discovery, because we now knew that whatever we vividly think about, our brain doesn't know the difference between what's imagined and what is real. And so the harder we think, the harder we visualize, our brain doesn't know the difference between that. And that is why the how of how to do that, or how to make that next step, or how to build Amazon, or how to build a real estate empire, it doesn't matter. Because if we visualize it and we are so clear on what we want and what we need and what we desire, then that reticular activating system is going to start filtering out everything except the 8% that's going to get us there. We start thinking about nothing except what questions we have to ask ourselves to get us there. We're going to be aware of everything at a higher intellectual place so that we can find those objects, because our brains are hardwired to give us what we seek, to see life in what we imagine. Once we decide and commit to it, our thoughts are now going to be completely in line with our decision. And we start to feel this snowball effect. We start to feel this energy, this pull. And that's passion, that's joy, that's that performance state. We really start to pull on that power of decision. And we start to have the vibration of the world. Again, we get into these metaphysics where everything in the world is connected. And I think this is what a lot of people have said about me for so long is, how do these things just happen to you? And my answer is, I just believe that they're going to happen. I visualize it. I see it. People come into my life because I asked for it. I looked for it. I sought it out. I knew that I needed to get somewhere, but I didn't know how. I just stepped into it and trusted, because my foundational belief is that I can accomplish anything that I want to. I can accomplish anything that I put my mind to. And so these questions that become asked by myself to me, my brain starts to churn out answers. I start to become much more aware of things around me. Different opportunities that present themselves, different people that present themselves. And those like-minded people that believe the same things start to come together, and that is where that network starts to foster. That is where the vibration of the world and enlightening the power of coincidence starts to become magical, and it changes the way that we operate. So understanding that these 5 phases to action, beliefs, thoughts, emotions, actions, create the results that we want, becomes one of the most extremely powerful tools. In the next lesson, we're going to understand what it looks like and what shapes the change, what creates that change.